Now, fast fashion, it allows us to catch up with the latest looks off the runway or on social media, wherever you've seen it, by rapidly producing high volumes of clothing in countless styles and variations at incredibly low prices. But these brightly coloured workout clothes and stylish outfits come at huge cost to society. Worse than a fashion disaster, the United Nations describes the fashion industry as an environmental and social emergency. It's carbon intensive, with estimated emissions ranging between 2 and 8% of the global total, while textiles are essentially plastic and they've been associated with negative environmental and health implications. Fast fashion is also linked to dangerous working conditions for workers who are also suffering from long hours for meager pay. We're joined in studio today by a designer who is setting out to change all of that. Anabel Lopez is a designer in Seoul who is making style sustainable and sustainable things stylish. A very warm welcome to you, Anabel. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. My pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's lovely to see you. And well, I believe earlier this month you launched a new collection. It's called Ecuador Meets Seoul. So first of all, could you explain to us more about your concept and what really inspired you to base your designs on Seoul?
Well, the name of the event was called Ecuador Meets Seoul, but the name of the collection is called Disengage. It's about expressing two contradictory concepts into one whole collection. So one of the concepts is the loss of freedom of expression, and the other is the complete freedom of expression. So society sometimes makes us feel trapped and not free, because they are always telling us we have to behave in a certain way in order to be happy, or we have to get the house and the car and get married and have the kids to be happy, or to be successful we have to work here or to study there. And sometimes it's not that what we really want to do. Sometimes what makes us feel successful, in my case, is being able to wear a piece that I made 10 years ago, and that's still trendy and I can still wear it because it's good quality. That makes me feel successful. So sometimes I don't really want to follow what society tells me what to do. And that's what I wanted to express in my collection. So I used a lot of harnesses and belts and metal and rough materials to express these rules that society puts on us. And then the other concept, which is what we really want to do, our freedom, are represented by more loosened fabrics, transparencies, volume on the shoulders, and things that make us feel more free, and this idea of wanting to go out and be more lively and happy.
Right, and I love the harness piece that you're wearing. I believe that's one of your signature looks. And what about this piece? It's one of your designs, this collection, isn't it?
Yes, well, the volume on the shoulders represents the freedom and how we want to go out. And the geometric parts on the black shape that looks like a harness and a belt represents the tightness of society rules. And the material is 100% wool, so it's really good quality, and it can last really forever if you treat the material well. And it's not a polluting material. It's a natural fabric that it's not going to generate garbage. You can wear it, and maybe even your kids will be able to wear it later. So it's more sustainable. That's the idea, fashion that lasts forever.
And I believe it's part of something that you're very strongly convicted about. It's something you believe in very strongly, and you're pushing for this. It's called slow fashion. So working in an industry like fashion, I mean, what are some of the negative impacts that you've noticed about fast fashion?
Well, fast fashion for me is really the devil. It is the second most polluting industries in the planet, right after the gas and oil industry. And it generates so much garbage, and it exploits so many people. So in my country, for example, in Ecuador, I have seen many people that work for factories and are pushed to make this certain amount of pieces in a very quick way, and are paid really low wages, and their working conditions are not really good, actually are pretty bad and even dangerous. So all the people that are behind the fast fashion industry are not treated decently. So I think that's really unfair. I mean, it's not about making a lot of clothes at the lowest cost to make a lot of money. It's more about treating people well and actually use fashion as a way of expressing ourselves.
I see. Now you're pushing for slow fashion. So please explain to our viewers who may not be so familiar with the concept of what slow fashion really is.
Well, slow fashion cares about every step of the process of the production chain. So me working directly with people from communities in Ecuador and being able to collaborate with them, treating them well, paying them fairly, paying for their insurance, for example, paying for their extra hours if they need to work extra time in making my clothes, make them feel happy. That's part of a slow fashion process, so that they can put their love into making my clothes. And that piece becomes a special piece, not just a piece of garbage that you're gonna throw away after the season. So that also, and also the where the materials come. Like synthetic materials, when you wash them, they release plastic microparticles that are very polluting. And since, for example, fake leather, I know we all think that real leather is not very sustainable because it comes from Anabel. If you use leather that comes from the food industry, for example, and you keep that piece of leather for the rest of your life instead of using fake leather that's going to peel fast and that's going to become garbage, it is more sustainable. So I know we can't save the world, especially by ourselves, but we can do our best from the place we are now. So slow fashion is that, like trying to do your best with the planet and with the people that are involved in the process, in the fashion production chain. So that you help and collaborate, not just pull to your side and make money, you know?
Right, and that may be very eye-opening for many viewers actually, because you tend to think that, you know, fake leather is more sustainable, but I suppose that really isn't the case. And I wonder what inspired you though to launch a sustainable fashion brand? I mean, what got you into slow fashion?
Well, the relationship I have with the workers, with the people who work with me, is very strong, and I've been working with them for many years, so I know about their lives, I know their families. I really care about them, so I really want to help them or to collaborate so we help each other. I think that's the main reason that have made me think about how the fast fashion is really mean to people. I mean, they're human beings. You can't just exploit people to get what you want. So that, I think that's the main thing. And there's a lot of good art in communities, disadvantaged communities in Ecuador, for example, and that art, to collaborate with them and do something together and put up a piece that is actually helping the earth and the people, that's also a big thing that I don't know, I really believe in.
Right,
so
you're making every step of the process, as you said, sustainable, and you know, you're really respecting people's dignity there as well. And I think it's really adds to what fashion really should be about. What's beautiful, the beauty needs to come from within, right? And
exactly.
Well, but then I suppose there must be a lot of challenges though to launching this slow fashion movement. So what really is the most difficult thing, I suppose, about running a slow fashion, sustainable fashion business?
Well, people are already used to be able to buy pieces for very cheap prices. So to changing that mindset has been really hard. The last event was all about explaining what is slow fashion and why fast fashion is bad and why people should change from fast fashion to slow fashion. And I think that's going to be hard because you always want to pay less, right? And when you buy something, you don't really think about the person who was in charge of manufacturing that piece. You don't really think about that. But if I can put that small thought in people's mind, so I think we can create consciousness and people will be thinking, okay, if I just pay 5,000 won for this t-shirt, how much was the person who actually saw that t-shirt, how much did she or he got. And maybe not buy it or try to know more about the process behind that t-shirt, or try to know more about the brands that are actually treating people well, so that you don't become part of this vicious circle, because the fast fashion vicious circle is not just responsibility of the producer, but also of the consumer.
Right, and well, like fast food, I suppose, you can purchase a top, a nice shirt for less than $10, but you have to remember that somebody out there is paying the price. And well, how can our viewers then start making slow fashion choices? Is there anything that they can really do to get involved?
Well, first of all, to think about what's behind the fast fashion industry. But for that, they need information, right? But I think it's becoming like a trend, this topic. Especially in Latin America, people are really thinking more about these kind of things. And in Ecuador, for example, since it's a poor country, it's an undeveloped country, and there's a lot of working labor. So I think there's a bit more consciousness about this, but I think it's important to bring this concept and this consciousness to countries like Korea, where pretty much everything is fast fashion.
Exactly, it's a very fast-paced. It has a very fast pace of life as well, and I think your slow fashion concept is perfect for a very I suppose trendy city like Korea, where there's always, Seoul, where there's something always going on, and as you said, society, there are certain sort of barriers and the sort of the sort of expectations that many people, city dwellers, believe that they have to live up to. And your fashion, I suppose, is very liberating when it comes to that, and it's also sustainable. And well, do you have any piece of clothing or accessories that you think is a must-have item this season?
Well, I don't really follow trends that much. I try to use fashion as a way of expressing ourselves. I think we are all unique, so we can dress uniquely because we are unique. So fashion should be a representative of ourselves. But for me, very like a joker in my closet is actually this top I'm wearing today, because it always, it's very convenient to have it as a piece of an outfit to complete the outfit. And actually, I've used this same top in many collections in different countries. So it's been like a joker for that. So if you have one piece that's gonna work with a lot of different outfits, it doesn't necessarily have to look like people not necessarily have to say, oh, I know that top, I saw it last time you wore your outfit. There are these pieces that are not very noticeable, that people don't really know you're wearing it over and over again. That piece, I think it's the main important piece of your closet.
Right. Oh, it just pulls everything together, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Right, it's a timeless look, and I really do love that strap. And it's definitely a must-have item in my opinion. But yeah, so well, before we go, so you're based here in Seoul. Any future plans, and also what really inspires you to stay in this city?
Well, first time I came was 2007, so it's been a very long time. And since then, I've been on and off in Korea. I've been living between Ecuador and South Korea. So I consider South Korea now as my second home. And now I came because I'm studying fashion and technology in Hanyang University. So I have one more year to go and then do the thesis. And while I do that, I want to push my slow fashion brand into the South Korean market and kind of communicate a little bit what slow fashion is and why it's important. That's the plan.
Glad you're here and making this city more stylish and also sustainable. Well, thank you very much for joining us in studio today. That was Anabel L, fashion designer in Seoul. Also, thank you to our viewers for watching. That wraps up our programme this week. We will be back though on Tuesday, Korea time, after the long weekend. Have a good one wherever you are. Thank you for watching.